Hi, in this new Beat Dissected, we program a new disco groove inspired by the infectious style of Purple Disco Machine, Never Dull, or Hurlee. To build the beat, we'll be using Loopcloud samples and loops. Loopcloud is a cloud sampling service brought to you by Loopmasters, and it makes use of AI search technology that allows for searching for samples using tone, stereo width, length, swing, rhythmic density, and more. Before we get started, be sure to hit the subscribe button to get notifications for all the latest content. Set the BPM to 121 and drag a punchy kick sample and open hi-hat sample into your drum rack and program a 4-to-the-floor kick pattern. One key fact about disco kicks is that they are not quantized precisely to the grid because this would sound too robotic. So make it a habit to play your kicks in live with a MIDI controller or even your computer keyboard and then find short loops that work. To curb our kick's more metallic texture and to add a hi-hat sound, we can layer each kick hit with the open hi-hat sample. One of the key elements of disco grooves is flammed snares and claps. This means when there are multiple snares and claps hitting within milliseconds of each other, instead of at the same time. Our clap sample is already flammed, but we'll layer it with a fat snare sample to make it sound more full. We have the snare playing almost simultaneously with the kick, and the clap is programmed to play a fraction of a second after. As the clap sample is also formed of a fast flammed double hit, we now have 3 clap/snare hits occurring at different times around the kick, giving us that sense of drag and swing. Shaker loops can be a secret weapon for groove, especially when used with sidechain compression. Insert a 4-bar shaker loop into the drum rack and program it to start on the first note and play for all 4 bars. Next, drag a compressor onto the shaker's drum pad and sidechain it to the kick. Set the attack to its lowest value so it responds to the kick immediately and reduces the threshold until the shaker starts to duck when the kick hits. The key parameter is release, and the value you set here will change the entire groove of your beat, so take the time to experiment. We left it at around 230 milliseconds. Over the next 2 steps, we're going to add 4 percussive elements, 2 bongos, a woodblock, and a disco string hit. These are all sounds that were used even in the earliest days of disco, so referencing them will add a sense of familiarity or nostalgia that listeners always pick up on. Their function in the beat is to play repeated syncopated patterns that contrast the straight rhythms of the kick and clap. Let's start with the bongos. 2 differently pitched hits are more than enough. Panning plays a key role to make the parts sound live, so we panned one 25 left and the other 25 right, so they form a stereo call and response relationship. To bring the woodblock sample into the 21st century and to dash it with some sparkle, add some chorus via Live's chorus ensemble. Pan it slightly to the left to make it sound like someone standing in a room playing it. Next up, add a classic disco string hit on the very first downbeat. This is the sound that will most clearly say to the listener that they can expect a swinging disco beat to come. Apply reverb to whatever sample you use so that the sound creates a spreading ambience. For the tom fills, use any tom samples you would like, but we recommend either acoustic drum sounding samples or very cheesy 80s drum machine samples. We used 2 tom samples, duplicated the second sample, and pitched it down -3 semitones in simpler. Pan all of the toms separately so that the fill moves across the stereo spectrum. We panned them 20 left, 0, and 21 right. The secret with tom fills is adding bucket loads of sub. For the first higher tom, we used Live's channel EQ with a boost at 120 Hz. Sub-enhancer plugins are ideal for this task, so we used Wave's Submarine to add sub-layers to the 2 lower toms. The final step is some room reverb to bring the beat to life. We'll add reverb using a return channel. Insert your favorite room reverb on a return channel, set it to 100% wet, and route -20 to -25 dB from the drum rack channel to the return. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and be sure to like and subscribe to get all the newest content from Attack Magazine.